welcome back. Nick here with SSIC for the REI Rockstar Podcast vlog series for the Ucity house. I got my main man, John Morgan here. How you doing, brother?
Good, how you doing?
I'm doing awesome, man. So I had John over here today. Just a quick update over here. We have some more progress for this house, and for those of you who've been following this video series know that we've had slow progress over the last couple months. We got our roof on, we got our windows in, we got all the siding in. We've taken all the trades as far as they can go. We've had to pivot because our plumber got COVID, and we got a guy that is willing to come over here nights and weekends. He's already booked up for the next 3 weeks, but we finally found a guy that's willing to come over and give us some time so that we can continue to move things along. Bless his heart, it's been awesome. So we've got really cool progress over here. We did a little bit more demo and pulled some stuff up that we needed to do, and now it is time to order our cabinets. And we're beginning to see the light at the end of the tunnel. So John's over here with Premium Cabinets. He's been pretty much doing all of our projects for the last little while, last 3 or 4 years. Yeah. And I'm asked all the time, who do we get for cabinets? And I say John. And the reason why is because of the service that we get, the expertise that he brings, and the quality of the cabinets and the pricing that he comes down. All those things mixed together is absolutely the reason why we called John for our projects. Now, John came over here today because we wanted to make sure he came up with preliminary plans, and I'll take a picture of this and I'll put this so that you guys can see it a little bit easier. But came up with preliminary plans about 2 months ago and came over to do final measurements just to make sure that nothing has changed or anything like that. But I want to talk to you about what are like the top 2 or 3 main things that a rehabber can do to save some money when they're designing a kitchen.
Well, I would say first and foremost, if our goal is to save money, we're going to look at filling the space with the least amount of cabinets as possible. Mm-hmm. So if we have a space that say is 6 or 8 feet long, if we can fill that with 2 or 3 cabinets versus 4 or 5 cabinets, that's going to help us save money.
For each box, you're going to be able to save money. It's not the scale of economy. Like 7 boxes is going to cost more than 3 boxes.
Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we want to be able to fill that space with as few as boxes as possible, which is going to help kind of keep costs down.
Right. And when I say keep costs down, I mean obviously for the rehabber, we want a really good end quality product. We want it to look good and be functional. But at the same time, we want to get the most value out of it because we all know that the kitchens and the bathrooms sell houses. By far, that's where people spend the most time. I know myself personally, I love to cook and I want to have a good functional kitchen. So to me, a good functional kitchen, if I'm looking at it, I'm not looking at how much cabinets are there. I'm like, what can I put in those cabinets? And it's the same difference whether you got 3 or you got 5.
Right.
So what's another thing that we can do is we're designing a kitchen for a rehab that can add some value but also save on the costs.
Well, little things like even just adding a little bit of crown molding, right? Which through us is very inexpensive. That gives a nice detail at the top of the cabinets. I think even throwing in like a bank of drawers here and there, I think a buyer is going to appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Where everything's just not run-of-the-mill, standard drawer, door kind of cabinet. That's going to kind of help them with function, right? And it's not going to break the bank for our budget.
Absolutely. So what about granite countertops? Like, what price point should we start to begin putting granite countertops in, and what's kind of like the determining factor when, yes, we should do granite, no, we shouldn't?
Personally, I would be a proponent for granite in all kitchens, right? I think price point does play a factor in. I mean, personally, in my homes, I'm usually, $150 and above.
Yep.
And the fact that it doesn't have to be high-end granite. It
Right.
can just be granite, right? We don't have to go with a Taj Mahal of styles. We just want to put a stone countertop, which kind of exudes quality, right? And
Right.
we can say that we have all wood cabinets with 42-inch uppers, crown molding, and granite countertops in our listing. I think that's going to put us ahead of what our competition's doing in the local neighborhoods that may be only going in there with cheapo cabinets and laminate countertops.
Right.
Right.
And I think that's always like the thing, like, should I put granite in or should I not? And I think for me, the number one thing is to look at the competition. And you kind of just hit on it. If every other comp that I'm trying to base the price on my house on has granite countertops, then I have to put granite countertops in. If the other houses that we're competing against don't, well, then you can make a determination. Maybe you can get by with laminate. And typically for the lower priced homes, you might be able to. I think every project might be slightly different, but for the most part, I think you really need to look at your comps to figure out if you're going to do that. Range hoods or the microwave over the range
Price point.
Yeah,
totally. Because again, there's going to be an expectation at different price points, and I think we have to. So the first question I ask any investor is, what is the ARV?
Right.
Because I know the neighborhoods, I know the ARVs, I know at certain price points in our retail division of our company, we work with these clients all the time. So when you get into the 350, 450, 550 type price points, their expectation is way different than the buyer at 150. So aesthetically, a range hood on the wall looks a lot prettier, right? But we have to come up with a secondary location for the microwave. And a good drawer microwave costs you $1,000, right? So if that's not in the budget, we don't need to talk about doing a range hood, right? So we just want to make sure that whatever we're doing design, if it calls for a range hood in that area, just like you just said, like run the comps, check to see what your competition's doing. Is the buyer going to have that expectation? Then we need to appeal to that buyer.
Right. Very cool. So what is the most important thing when designing a kitchen? When we go down to functionality, obviously, and we want the overall feel to be nice, but when you're actually talking about functionality, how do you convey functionality into a drawing like this?
Well, we always start with our staples, right? And the staples in the kitchen are going to be the refrigerator, the stove, the sink, and the dishwasher. We have flexibility on where we can move those, but we're not unlimited amounts of flexibility. So those have to have a home first and foremost. It wouldn't make sense to put the fridge right there in the middle of the wall, right?
Which is kind of what we're doing here.
No, that wall.
Okay, yeah,
right
in the middle of that wall.
So we find a home for those first, and then also we need to talk logistically. Does it make sense to reroute electric, plumbing, gas, all those services? Can we even get it to that area? Right, before we start moving things around. So I always start with those staples, and then we start to kind of create the function around that.
Yep.
We want to see a relationship between those pieces, though, right?
Which is called the triangle,
right? I mean, it's important. It's not as important, I think, as it used to be, but we just want a good relationship. We don't want to have fridge in this corner, sink on that wall, and just have people walking 6-8 feet in between appliances, right? So we do want them close. We don't want them on top of each other.
Right. So that's kind of what we were just going through. When John came over, we realized that one or two things has slightly changed since we first came up with these plans. So we just made a couple of quick adjustments on here. And that's why, honestly, I like working with you, because you're available to come over and take a look at that and make some fine-tune adjustments to make sure we get a really good product that's well designed, very functional, looks high-end, and we get a really good value out of it. And over the years, we've used other vendors before I met John, or other suppliers, and maybe for a rental that might have worked out, but to try to get a really good product, you need to have a smart guy that understands this kind of stuff and has that eye for design to help you come and put something like this together. And at the end of the day, I think we get the best value with John. So
yeah,
and I would just going out and doing that.
And let me just add one thing, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
When you're ready for me, when you're ready for cabinets, you're at like the 95-yard line. Like you're almost done. Like you can't really afford to have a lot of mistakes on a cabinet order or a measurement because your flooring's in, your paint's done, everything's done. You need cabinets, countertops, and appliances, and you're putting the sign in the yard, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't want to oversell it, but I mean, it's very important, no matter who you use, to get the measurements done by a professional so that when you come time to needing those, everything's correct. And your installers aren't calling you with headaches.
Yeah, I was actually in a house one time, and they put the cabinets in. This was probably 18 years ago. They put the cabinets in, and I was upstairs doing something else, and I just heard this loud, huge cuss word expletive for like 30 seconds. And it was that exact scenario where it was just off by this much, and it was going to take like 3 weeks to get a new cabinet in. It was a big mess, and we got it worked out. That was 18 years ago, but I still remember that is absolutely the case.
Sure.
Biggest question: lead time.
Yeah.
when do we call you?
As soon as you close,
Yeah.
right? I mean, you really want to get us in early. I can measure wall to wall. I can measure framing. I can account for things. You know, we're going to overlay all these walls with drywall. I know you're going to use a 1/2 inch, so I can play that into my design. If you wait till you're drywall, taped, mudded, paint, you're going to be a lot behind the 8 ball, right? So I really like to get into the properties early. So upon closing, now if you're taking it's going to be a whole blowout rehab, we can wait a few until demo's done, but I really need to get in there early. But to answer your question, lead time is really going to vary on what product line we use. But my investor-friendly kind of cabinet line that we use, I mean, you're talking a few weeks, lead time. We always ask for 4 to 6, but we always tailor that to each individual project.
Right. So I know with like roofing that the lead time is crazy on that because of supplies and siding and windows is like 12 weeks. And for cabinets, you're still 2 to 3 weeks on a relatively quick order.
Yes, but what you said is key. You know you're going to need them, so order them.
Yeah.
Because they can sit in our warehouse until you need them.
Yeah.
Don't wait until you're 2 to 3 weeks out. That's only if we're in a pinch.
Right.
We know we're going to need cabinets for this project. We're nowhere near being ready to install them, but we're ordering cabinets now so that they're in the warehouse, ready to go. So that all you have to do is make a phone call and go, John, I'm ready for my cabinets, and we deliver them.
Absolutely.
Right? So I would say, you know you're going to need them. Check the box off. Order the materials. Get them going.
Right. So, yeah, moral of the story is be prepared and order those things as soon as you possibly can so that you're ready. When you're ready for them, all they got to do is deliver them. And it's still encouraging, though, that 2-3 weeks you can get cabinets.
Yeah.
And that is really good news. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this kitchen turns out. I think we put a lot of thought into it and really thought about the design aspect, the functionality of it, the right value, the right layout, and to have that kind of wow factor here. I know we're gonna have some can lights in both of these rooms, so there's gonna be tons of light. We got tons of natural light. And the things that we had to kind of figure out are, in any design, it's hard to figure out is what do you do around a window or around a door, around an opening, right? And we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had two doors and 3 windows, and a window and 2 other openings. So 5 openings that we had to kind of design around. And we just thought, hey, let's just close those things up. We don't really need them because there's tons of natural light in here anyway. Let's close up everything so we can have that large bank of L cabinets, have a nice center island type of thing or peninsula right here, and have a ton of cabinet space, have a ton of counter space, and be able to fit the staples in, like you were just talking about, the triangle with the stove, the range, the dishwasher, and the refrigerator and the sink, and having all that stuff, and not be limited to, oh, we have to put it here because there's a window here, or we have to put it here because there's a door here. So kind of experience led us to that by opening up this wall, and closing up the openings allowed us to have an easier design layout that we came up with here, and I think it's going to look awesome. So thanks for being a part of that, man.
Yep, no problem.
All right, guys, this has been another episode of the REI Rockstar Podcast vlog series, update on the Ucity house. Got lots of progress here. In the next few weeks, we're going to see a lot more movement here as we get things moving along, and I'm really excited for what's to come. This house is going to turn out really cool. Got lots of exciting stuff here. Stay tuned for more. Click that like, subscribe, and notification bell if you could. Nick signing off for the REI Rockstar Podcast vlog series with my buddy John. Take care.